Like to call this meeting of the Land Use and Planning Commission or Committee to order. This meeting has been notified by the clerk's office. And please rise with me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Excuse me, I had to adjust that. I'm leaning way over the table here. Okay, first item up, minutes from last month. Any notifications, changes, or anything that we've seen that there's a problem with? Having seen none, I will go ahead and consider them as accepted. We will start discussion item 3A, Register of Deeds update. Do we have somebody here? Did they miss my meeting?
Not here at present, but there is a written report included. If you have any questions, I'm happy to pass them along, or we can see if maybe they stop in a few minutes.
Well, if they show up, how about we circle back to that? But we do have somebody from the Washington County Golf Course expansion discussion, correct?
Yes.
There he is. All right, come on up and regale us with some great tales.
Quite sure what that means, but I'll just tell you about what's going on at the golf course.
There we go.
All right. I think Jamie's working on seeing if we can get some pictures or renderings of what this expansion project is going to look like. Obviously, construction is underway. We have put the basement. They have poured the concrete for the basement. They've poured the concrete for the tunnel connecting the two basements. They have the second entryway there. The photos that you will see up there are inside renderings of what the project is going to look like. And what I'm here to talk about today is kind of how we're going to utilize this space going forward. So top picture there, first picture there is basically if you were looking from the current gathering area that we have towards the entire expansion. So that first door there is going to be a door that goes into the kitchen area. If you kind of look on the right-hand side of the screen, you'll see a window there. That is the Club Repair Center. There's another picture of that. And on the left-hand side is one of three entryways into the multi-purpose room. There will be a door. Those large windows there will be an accordion style window. So those panes of glass will all slide to the west, and then on the patio they'll slide to the east, so you can have an open air concept going from inside to outside the multi-purpose room. You can see if you're standing outside the multi-purpose room still looking west, that's a picture of inside the multi-purpose room. So that will have all the technology where you can be connected to virtual teams, virtual webinars, Zoom calls. You can have a presentation in there. We will have projector and slides. And so that where the Washington County logo is, that's going to be a very large TV. Power source will come from the floor. The tables will be powered, be kind of a 60-40 split. Some tables will have power, some will not. But again, both of those doors, those large doors on the north and south end of the room will kind of slide open, and you can make that an open concept to go out to the expanded patio area. The next picture is the new Club Repair Center. So right now, all our club repair is done down in the maintenance building. So it's always fun when somebody comes in and asks for a set of grips, and then we take their clubs in and walk out the door with them. They always wonder where we're taking their stuff. So now we'll be able to do all that in the same building. So this is where we will re-grip, re-shaft, extend clubs, cut clubs down, and do any repairs anybody needs. Further west down the hallway, will be where the two new TrackMan IO simulators are going to be put in. So this is where all the club repair, not all, player development programs are gonna happen. So lessons, simulator leagues in the winter, and, corporate people renting out the multipurpose room can also use the simulators for an hourly rental rate. The last picture there is the office space that is in that area. I would say that that's probably an undefined area at this point in time of what that is going to be utilized with. We have a substantial amount of club fitting matrices. So right now I'm guessing some of that will go in there to offset the offices that are connected to the pro shop. But one of the discussions or future discussions is how we utilize that to the best potential going forward is the office spaces there. Yeah,
Where's the kitchen?
kitchen's in the exact same spot the kitchen has always been. So the kitchen, so the door right there, which is basically almost straight across the hallway from the multipurpose room, is the door that goes into the back end of the kitchen.
Okay.
So that is kind of the door that went from the kitchen into the sunroom.
Okay.
So that sunroom kind of turned into a hallway. So it won't be very difficult to get from the kitchen to go down the hallway to service anybody in the simulators or multipurpose room. Yeah. I don't have any pictures of the expansion of the outside patio. But basically that patio is going to extend all the way past the multipurpose room. There will be some shade structures out on the patio. So those golfers who are out there for 4 hours playing golf in the sun and the wind can then sit outside and not be exposed to the sun and the wind anymore. They can sit under the shade. So they'll look forward to that. And we'll have some new patio furniture there. We'll have some new interior furniture. And that is basically the virtual renderings of how everything is going to look, give or take where a TV is located, some signs on the wall and stuff like that. Yeah.
Supervisor Mary?
In your multi-purpose room, what's your capacity on that gonna be like for a meeting of some type? 35, 40, 50 people or what?
Max is 36. So I asked the architect. So he said you could fit 37 in a classroom style with all the tables lined up one after another. And he said, but the code capacity is 36, 37 people. Once you open it up and you go to the patio, you can have more people seated outside of the room. So I have a call into the Hartford Fire Department to double check what our clubhouse capacity was prior to this expansion. I know it was a little lower than what I would expect it to be, but once they get back to me, because even Dave, our superintendent, didn't have any record of what the official number was for past couple of years. So I'm waiting to see what they have on record, and then we can add this capacity plus the simulator area plus the hallway area to see what total capacity would be for the clubhouse.
Yeah, and I'd be wondering if the capacity, I mean, for obviously that room is 35, but then if you open it up to that other area in the back and then also open it to the patio, it might be good to ask the fire department how or what the capacities are, depending on what configuration you're using.
The number that sticks in my head is from what I've seen on some drawings that the gathering area that we had was around 68. So if this is 32 plus all the other square footage, we'll be over 100 for capacity, which will be fantastic. And that's not even including anything to be outside. That would just be under the roof at one point in time.
Oh, that'd be plenty enough for a pretty large outing if you had to be, something for that.
Absolutely.
Great. Any other questions on the expansion?
One quick one. What is that estimated completion date again?
So when the bid went out, the completion date was June 12th. Over the span of the cold weather snap that we had and contractors and subcontractors being delayed off certain jobs, they had asked for approximately a 4-5 week extension. We took that to the architect firm. We denied that lengthy of an extension, and right now their current extension date is about June 19th to the 21st. So right now they're 10 days behind where they would be.
Okay, thank you.
I guess one of the other things we wanted to possibly talk about, or at least have you consider, is we're going to be renting this multi-purpose room out to anyone and everyone who wants to use it. So in the past, like a lot of our outings, we have given somewhat of a discount to nonprofits. So when we look at a multi-purpose or a room rental rate, kind of like how Hartford Park and Rec has their rates established on their website, they have resident rates, they have non-resident rates, and they have nonprofit rates. Is this something that you would like to see us do the same thing? Would you like to see this as a flatter rate and that it applies to everyone? And kind of the same thing in regards to the simulator aspect. So we've done some research of all the local areas because sim golf is a very popular thing at the moment. When looking at facilities that will be offering the same capabilities of what we will have, their current range of price per hour is roughly around 35 to 40 on a weekday and 40 to 46 on a weekend. Our current rate for simulators is 35 on a weekday and 40 on a weekend. I'm not, yes, we will have it for entertainment purposes, but we are more in the player development aspect of these simulators. We are not in, yes, we will have simulator leagues, but we're not a bar that serves as many food and beverage options as other places that have simulators. We will work to expand our menu over the winter months, but I'm asking, do you want us, even though this is brand new, to map our pricing very similar to competition? Or have ourselves marked above competition? And I'm guessing, as how we've always run this golf course, you don't want to see us undercutting any competition. But I leave that kind of open to your opinion or any comments you may have on that.
Comments?
A couple questions. The $35-45, that's the cost to rent the simulator, correct?
That's the hourly rental rate.
Were we also talking about an hourly or a rental rate for like more of the room? And what I'm seeing in the picture outside of the simulator area?
Yeah, so like if you wanted to be in that conference room, which I believe you scroll down one more. So if you wanted to rent that room, right now, when I look at other places in the area, so Kettle Moraine Bowl, which jugs kettle, they have a party room that seats up to 20 people. They charge $50 an hour. Park and Rec has 4 different options of rooms that have a capacity around 30 people. And for residents on community room A, they charge $45 for up to 4 hours. So that's basically under $12 an hour that they're charging a resident. For non-residents, that same room is $70 for a 4 hour. And then if you go over that, it's going to be either $15 or $23 per hour after that. I don't know the capabilities and technology that they have at the Hartford Park and Rec for the community room A. If you're looking at the aerobics room or if you're looking at the conference room, they're charging $25 or $50 for residents, non-residents, up to 4 or 2 hours. My initial thought about having a room like this and all the technology that will be in it is that I was thinking that our hourly rate would be closer to 50 if we had a resident rate and closer to 75 if we had a non-resident rate. If we had a nonprofit rate, I'm sure it would be somewhere in the $30, $25 if you want to offer a discount to them. But I will listen to your opinions about that.
Supervisor Mary?
I would strongly suggest or encourage you to consider some kind of a nonprofit rate, particularly for youth activities and that sort of thing. Beyond that, I think you want to be competitive with whatever. I don't think we want to be a cost leader or door discount, so we don't get all kinds of axes thrown at us from the competition. But at the same point in time, I think we do need to offer some kind of a not-for-profit as an example for youth groups and that sort of thing who want to do something in that facility.
Okay.
Other than that, you're the professionals on this. You tell us what's going to be best.
Supervisor Conrad?
Thank you. I was actually going to say the same things as Supervisor Mary. I do appreciate being competitive, but yet offering nonprofits a different type of rate. We are, county facility. We are, utilizing tax dollars for this. So I would.
Not for this one.
Yeah, just a quick correction. There is no taxpayer funding being allocated to this project. It is all coming from the golf course revenues.
That's right. Thank you. I'm sorry about that. Thank you for correcting me. But having it be an accounting facility, still, I think. And that's what the private sector does also. So I still think that we should do the same. Thank you.
And, you know, the multipurpose room, we will have all sorts of different categories of packages, foods involved with renting that room, using the driving range if you're renting that room, having less clinics for people who want to rent that room, greens fees if people want to rent that room, have a corporate meeting and then take all their clients out and play golf after.
Yeah.
So we'll have a vast array of packages available for the multipurpose room any way it needs to be utilized.
Supervisor Krebs?
A couple comments. First one, in your room the rendering's much prettier than the rooms at the Hartford Rec department.
Okay.
So it should command a much higher rental rate than what they offer. The Hartford Rec department, not knocking it by any means, but it's painted block walls, you know, it's very utilitarian. I guess, is there a kind of are we trying to steer the clients that use this space specifically towards specifically golf related meetings and activities? Because otherwise, if you price yourself too affordably, you're just going to end up when 12-year-old birthday parties coming in there and stuff. I'm not saying that's wrong or right, but if you might attract more non-related business than golf-related business to it. And the other thing, attending a lot of town of Hartford meetings and town of Addison meetings where every 2 or 3 years, it seems they discuss their hall rental rates and where are they, and they always are calling around comparing themselves to other townships and stuff like that. They're constant at a town level, they're always talking about the maintenance, the cleaning aspects of it and stuff. And they're talking when they're renting their halls for a whole day or a whole evening and stuff. And now we're talking literally hours here, just a sliver at a time. What's the staff investment to turn this room over between, you know, if you put 2 birthday parties in there and a corporate retreat in there all in one day and stuff, just to clean it, get it ready for it and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
There's definitely a cost to that, which the townships are always realizing they're never covering themselves on.
Sure.
So I would err on being too price conscious in the beginning. It's easier to reduce your rates down the road if you need to, if you want to fill up that schedule more. But I wouldn't start low and then raise your rates later. I would try to find that 80% tier or whatever we want to get to, where we're not the leader in the rate, but still trying to cover your real costs for that space.
Have a cleaning fee. If it's, so because this year is such a questionable of the exact day it's gonna be open.
Yeah.
2026 is gonna be a great way for us to kind of get a grasp of what people are gonna utilize the space for. And 27 having a lot of set rates of, this is what the hourly rate's gonna be, this is a service fee if you're gonna use this room. If we start to see it's booked from 10 to noon and then it's booked again from 1 to 4, that, yeah, we have to have more people on staff, or we have to utilize our seasonals to come in here and help clean the place up or whatever we're using. It'll be a great way for us to evaluate that and really have a full year when we hit 27 of how we're gonna.
Cause I don't
Utilize
know,
the space.
I don't know what your current clubhouse, you know, custodial schedule is, but if they're not there all hours when you're open, but if you're trying to turn that room multiple times on a weekend, you'll be incurring more expenses just on those turns and stuff. So it's just something that I see the townships constantly debating.
Everything that we do is in-house.
Okay.
So with the staff that we have, if I have a high school kid and all of a sudden I'm like, hey, there's no carts to turn and you've picked the range, vacuum the dining area.
Okay.
So he vacuums that. So between that or turnover of food and beverage staff, we will be maintaining and making sure the place is always clean and looking appropriate.
Supervisor Mary?
Question, looking at the image you have up on the screen right now, assuming you had a corporate meeting in there with, say, 30 people at tables and so on, someone wanted to use the large screen, is there gonna be some way to prevent that room from being blown out with outside sunlight so you won't be able to see the screen?
Yeah, we did talk about on the south wall.
Yeah,
The wall that's on the interior will be frosted to have more of a privacy, so internal ambient light will be lower. But we did talk about having somewhat of a tint on the exterior windows as well to reduce the UV and the fading of the carpet. So that is in the discussion, and when we get to the material aspect of that, we will be looking at some different films that can go on the windows. We don't want to have any kind of drapes or curtains because of how windy it can get at the county, and then all of a sudden you open that door and then they're everywhere. So it'll be more of a tint on the window than anything else.
I guess I work with too many organizations that have meetings and such, and they don't think about that, or they have a portable screen, they put it right under the brightest lights in the room. And of course, the lights wash out whatever's on the screen. You can't see anything. So I become sensitive to it. Are you even going to be able to see the television or the monitor up there on a nice, bright, sunny day? But I think your idea of having some kind of a tint or something in the glass is probably something to consider.
All right, I guess I'll stick my 2 cents worth now and I'll let you guys go ahead and get your onions out. As far as the simulator itself, I think being a little bit under, I don't think it's necessarily undercutting. I look at it as you're not offering bar service, food service. It's not the same. I go to Stingers all the time and I can get a beer. I can do the Sims. I can order a plate of nachos. You're not the same thing. Yeah, and again, you're geared more towards the learning aspect of it. So I see it if it's at an affordable rate, it gets people to come there. And I would guess that a lot of people are probably getting rained out, might decide to maybe take on the simulators instead. Hey, we tried to get out on the course today. It doesn't look like we're going to make it. Hop on the simulators. Why not?
Yeah, we're gonna have like this in the summer. We have the range membership. We will offer a simulator membership to make sure it's utilized throughout the entire year. We'll have a winter membership for the simulator so people can have access to an hour daily a day for a certain fee. Right now, what I've seen across some other golf courses that have what the setup that we're going to do is from December 1st to March 31st, it's a $750 fee you get 1 hour a day. And then if you and another member come in, you can kind of backpack, or you can kind of piggyback some time together, so you can get 2 hours, or you have a monthly of $200 a month and you get an hour of simulator usage a day. So that's something that we're going to look into and offer memberships in that, and then run some tournaments, and then have some junior player development programs for the high schools to come in to get their boys ready for spring golf.
Yeah, largely I would see the simulators as being something.
I hear that, and girls.
Well, the girls are in the fall, so they would be in the summer.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I look at the simulators as being kind of a learning tool and as well to promote the golf course. Get people out there. That's why, we have club repair, we have lessons, we have, there's a lot of different things going on there, and that is to utilize the space of the golf course, to promote the course itself. And then the other thing is nonprofits. I belong to a few of them, and I do agree that space, it's a nice size for a nonprofit. So I think that would be great if we had some kind of ease of cost, because obviously most of them, I belong to Kiwanis, and most of our money goes directly out to the children, and we pay to volunteer. So it's not like we have a ton of money that we can, and it's very often hard to find a place to meet, and there usually is about 20 of us. So that's a very nice idea of a room, and I hope that will be thought about. And as far as corporate rates and stuff like that, I mean, it's a great thing for the golf course. Again, I'd love to see like Milwaukee Tool or Pina Seasonings come out and bring some of their top brass and have a meeting and maybe doing some kind of golf outing or something like that. That'd be fantastic, and if it's priced right where they can do it, makes sense to me. So, Supervisor Mary?
Yeah, one last question and I'll sit and behave myself. Are we looking at the simulators as being a profit center or are they just a draw to come to the golf course?
So if you think about everything that I will use the simulators for, so not to toot my own horn, I guess, but I am one of the more sought out club fitters in the state. And I sell approximately about $160,000 worth of clubs per year. And without a simulator, I wouldn't sell that much. So what we do lesson wise, player development wise, club sales wise, if you take all the revenue that you need a simulator, you need a launch monitor to conduct this kind of fitting, it won't take very long. If I put my club sales against the price of the simulator, the return of investment is probably 18 months. So they will turn a profit. You're not going to see it under the simulator bay rental rate that you made money, but you will see it out of club sales and lesson programs and junior stuff like that.
Thank you.
That's great. Didn't even really equate those things, that actually makes a lot of sense. Any other questions on this particular topic? All right, seeing none, why don't we move on to the golf course quarterly report?
Thank you. And seeing that last question, I will send out via email a little bit more detail on these categories so that you can see the public charges for service that Craig just mentioned. You can see it, the 2.1 million that was in the budget. You can see the actual showing up as 2.4 million in revenues, which is about $310,000 more than what our target graphs were that we measure. And a lot of that is coming from greens fees and the golf itself, but you can actually go in and see the categories then if we send that around. What I just kind of wanted to point out here is that despite that revenue in line 33 being, this is the estimated year-end actual for 2025, the expenses, 1.94 was our budget. We're at 1.90. But you can also see, so you can see those also doing better than expected. You see under 36,000, but if you go above, you see a big red 291. That entry is not made yet. The depreciation entry is not filed into the financials yet. So the expenses are actually also going to finish probably right around that $300,000 over what we were expecting, which takes kind of the net to plus 11,000. So the question that we should be asking in the year end of why is it looking like that, considering your revenues were so strong? Why did you spend so much more money than what you were targeting? And the answer is in line 43 and line 59, that 108,000, which is where the clubhouse expansion project starts to show up. So we started spending money in 2025 from our capital project, which we were expecting to use, debt proceeds and cash. Debt proceeds in cash. And so basically that's a long way of telling you that even despite the expenses we incurred in 2025 for that project, we're still not eating into the debt proceeds yet. We're still not eating into some of the cash flow endowment revenues we were expecting to burn. So the year is finishing strong. We're spending a lot more money out there every day than what we had budgeted for. That said, what you'll see from here is we will be working kind of towards the end of the fall, we'll get final finish numbers, we'll get an updated cash balance, and then we'll be working on updating kind of our 2050 plan projections and really looking at the impact of the project on our cash, and kind of how that payment's gonna shake out from the clubhouse expansion project. So, that's all a long way of saying these numbers are good. They don't show up that good right here because of those expenses. But we're happy with those revenues. We're on pace with our budgeted budget for next year and to deliver, I think, a very healthy financial outlook for Washington County Golf Course. So with that, Craig is here, I'm here, we can answer any questions you have.
So, and kind of correct me, but I thought when we started the expansion project, we actually utilized cash on hand and then we raised debt. Was that part of this? Or am I thinking of something else?
Right, so we started and said, we're gonna use money from our savings account.
Right.
I'm telling you, in 2025, we didn't really, because we took in more money than we thought we were going to. We had a good year, which we figured, I mean, we were kind of planning on, we're gonna have another strong year, so we're not concerned about the cost of this project. The cost of the project is also going up. They are finding things every single day. So what we can do the next time we come before you is kind of report out on the status of the financials of the project and then how that translates to the use of cash. But we are monitoring that. And so I don't know if that answered your question, but yeah, that was the plan. Without the project, we would have finished, plus 250,000, 200. Our target was 100 to sustain our 2050 plan. So we're about 150 over what we were hoping for. But it doesn't show up that way because we spent that much more money.
Okay, and we have a decent contingency in our construction plan that's allowing for some of these new things that are coming up?
We have been,
Typically a contingency is about 20-25%. Not that much?
Not quite.
yeah, I mean, that's a great question. Let us double back on that and prepare a report regarding the authorized project budget and then kind of year to date where the contract is at. Bids came in positive, but we also did grow the scope, and started, adding things here and there. Furniture came back higher than we were expecting, but we haven't been concerned, because we had borrowed enough money to cushion the payment essentially.
Okay, I mean, as long as in the end, when you come back with the numbers, that it's all gonna kind of work and not, we're gonna have to go back to the board and, try and find more money or something, that would be my concern.
No, it's
So-
gonna work and we are gonna, I mean, to add to the question that somebody asked about if this is a profit center or not. The answer is, Craig kind of said no, but the whole thing has to work, right? And so if it is a lever that can be pulled or utilized and it provides opportunities for revenue streams that we need to make sure we're taking care of the course. So I think the answer to that is complicated because we certainly don't want to be adding expenses that lose money unless we're doing that intentionally.
And also the golf course helps us with a lot of our other parks and stuff like that, so it's kind of imperative. Supervisor Krebs?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Jamie, you stepped in the mud. You said we're finding things every day. Can you expand a little bit?
Craig, can you? I can also, from what I have been updated on, but you are there every day.
Yeah, so this is what you're gonna find when all of a sudden you're replacing windows, that the sills underneath are some rotted wood. The sills, we had the clubhouse tuck pointed, so all the sills were pitched the proper way back in 2016. Contractor says now they've all resettled and now they're back towards the building. So obviously with that being said, you're gonna have some rotted wood, you're gonna have some insulation that looks not ideal. You probably see some mold that's in the wall. So it's some of those things that they're talking about, and having to put more flashing where they didn't think they had to put flashing. There's some other things of, we had a 30-year-old roof and we're gonna replace the 30-year-old roof, and oh, it leaked over here. Yeah, we understand that. So I haven't seen anything in which it's like, oh, we're spending $400,000 more on something. It's all this. Yeah, you're gonna have to pay $3,000 to redo a bunch of sills around here, or you're gonna have to put some more wood over in this corner over here to support it. So I haven't thought of any of this as breaking the bank, but in the winter, when the golf course doesn't have 300 people at it a day and you're not making the revenue that you are, it just looks and it just drives you a little nuts that you're like, oh, we're spending a lot of money. Yeah. Come May, when all the people are out there playing golf and you're like, oh, we're spending money. And you're like, well, we're making just as much. So it doesn't affect you as much. It's just sitting here in the off season. You look at all your expenses a little harder than what you do when the money's coming in.
But you're finding things that you kind of expected 30 years ago.
Correct. At least that's what I've been informed of. I haven't had anybody come up to me and be like, we need a change order for $100,000.
Yes, agree. It's a lot of little things. We want to get the right amount of chairs. It's a little bit more tables than we thought, right? So it just all adds up.
And I don't know if anybody accounted for the fact that, yes, we're paying more in furniture, but nobody expected that we're gonna have revenue when we sell all our current furniture. So we are going to make some money when we sell all the furniture that has been in the clubhouse for 27 years. So it may not be a lot, but a couple grand here and there of selling 65 tables and 200 chairs that go with it goes a little ways.
Very good. Supervisor Krebs?
Thank you. Yeah, Jeff asked the question I was gonna ask, and I would offer up that, yeah, there's scope growth and then there's the unexpected, and that the unexpected is obviously what the contingency money is for, that's what it's there for stuff like that. Jamie, one question about the increase in expenses. You cited line 43 and 40 or 59. I thought one was material supplies, another was the outlay. What's kind of the difference between those then? If those were both kind of used for the seed money of the project, I guess you would call it.
Yeah. Do you know the answer to that?
That-
Let me actually get the detail and break those accounts down and send that around, because it's a good question.
At the end of the day, expenses are expenses. I'm just not really sure why they're categorized different, if they were really both related to the project, so.
And let me double check that.
Okay, thank you.
Supervisor Mary?
I said I'd be quiet, but I can't help myself. With the popularity of the course itself, do you anticipate a time when we're just gonna be overbooked all the time?
Lovely thought.
So I mentioned this before. So as we went through 25, as we ended 24 going into 25, it was the first time I had to open up a 26 calendar. And being that we're 25 starting 26, I have a 27 calendar already started. So it is very interesting to kind of see the progress of the golf course, the outings, the requests of people playing, people traveling to this area. It doesn't hurt that Wisconsin is the #1 destination of golf in the country. We outrank California, we outrank Florida of places people travel to go play. We are in a pretty central hub. We have some pretty interesting things coming down the pipeline with a very exclusive country club coming to Ashapin, just north of Erin Hills, starting to break ground, I believe, this spring in the Kettle Forged. And there's some other talk of some other golf courses, but we're also seeing that local golf courses are also closing. So this may be the last year, I think this is the last year of Silver Spring, I believe that is all turning residential, and this could potentially be the last year of Blackstone Creek. They've had this deal with the town or city over there, and I know the head professional and owner over there, so within the next several years, they may be done. So as more golf courses close and 100 single home subdivision goes in less than 500 yards east of the golf course, the popularity and the demand of our golf course, I don't see diminishing anytime soon, which is a great forecast to have.
Thank you. I like his reports.
Yeah,
That's why
very
I said,
optimistic. And I will just reiterate this, Craig does a fantastic job with Washington County Golf Course. We have some of the best personnel out there that of any course. And a lot of the success is due to the people. So we definitely appreciate that. And please take that back to your team and extend our appreciation for the work that you guys do every day.
and that's why I started with regale us with tales of good tidings. And you know, I've played the course now, and I've seen Erin Hills, and obviously it's not Erin Hills. However,
We were there first.
it's not that far off. It's good enough that, boy, if you like Erin Hills, you really want to play Washington County. And I tell you what, it's a beautiful course. It looks great. And it's challenging. It's a lot of fun and just epic scenery, just like Erin Hills. I think it's amazing. So, any other questions for Craig?
I'll add that he's really good at lessons.
He hasn't met me yet. I'd make him quit. So
The bigger the challenge, the better the reward.
I'm terrible. Okay.
You are with that attitude.
So, with seeing no other business, our next meeting date is March 19th, 2026. We are adjourned, subject to the call of the chair. Thank you.